let's do a bit recap of what we did last time. We began microbiology series, is that correct? And when we began microbiology, we said that microbiology is simply the study of what? Microbiology is the study of what? Microorganisms. Please, I warned us, no one should wear earpiece. I can seize it, I can tear it, depending. Please remove all earpiece, remove all AirPods. I beg. I don't want to see your phone. Because oh Jesus. So we said microbiology simply is the study of microorganisms. And we said that these microorganisms we are studying are divided into 4 groups. Is that correct? The first group we talked about was what? Was it bacteria? We talked about bacteria. And we said that the study of bacteria is called what? Bacteriology. Bacteriology. Then we established that under taxonomy, bacteria belongs to kingdom what? Kingdom what? Monera. Please, those at the back, hope you are following me. Okay. I don't need to introduce myself again now, do I? I don't need to. Can I stop my back? Okay, so we said that all pathogenic bacteria belong to which class of Monera? Did we say Eubacteria? We said that Monera is very linked to Eubacteria and Cyanobacteria, right? And I told us that Cyanobacteria is more of the plants. That's the blue-green algae, right? So I said that all pathogenic class of bacteria belongs to Eubacteria. And when I said pathogenic, what do we mean? Able to cause disease, is that correct? So the bacteria that disturb you, that you have typhoid, which bacteria class is that? Eubacteria. Is that correct? Then we also said that pathogenic bacteria can be classified based on different criteria. The first one we spoke about was classification based on shape. Is that right? Under that, how many shapes do bacteria have? 4. The first one is what? Cocci. Second one, bacilli. Third one, vibrio. The last one, spirochete or spirilla. Okay, so that the cocci bacteria, what shape do they have? Is it round? Popular example is what? Staphylococcus. Popular example is what? Staphylococcus. Is it Aries or Aureus? Sorry, when you wait to never. Okay, so we talked about bacilli. What's the shape of bacilli? Cylindrical, right? Or rod-shaped. Vibrio, what's the shape? Comma or curved. Then spirilla or spirochete is which one? Spiral. Popular example is what? What organism has spiral shaped? Treponema pallidum. That causes what? Syphilis. Okay. Then we spoke about classification of bacteria based on stain. Did we talk about stain? We talked about the gram-positive and gram-negative. We also spoke about classification based on temperature into 3, right? We have thermophilic, mesophilic, and psychrophilic. Okay. Then we spoke about virus too, right? Okay, after that, have we learned that table of bacterial infection and the cause? You should now. Let's revise more. What bacteria causes tuberculosis? Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Which one causes cholera? Which bacteria? Vibrio cholerae. If you don't know it, go to that table and be looking at it now. Open that book, open that page, everybody. Do expo, legal expo. Which bacteria causes chlamydia? Trachoma. Which bacteria causes trachoma? Even Expo no gree you do again. Which bacteria causes syphilis? Which one? Treponema pallidum. What of gonorrhea? Okay. It's actually your problem. If you like, you learn the table. If you like, you leave it. I always tell us, I've written JAMB, and I'll never write it again. So it's your own turn to write. If you wish, you learn. If you don't like, leave it. 190 is not a bad score, is it? Is 190 a bad score? IMT is not far from you. Other than Azun or Boon. You just a stone throw, you enter. So it's your choice. Lion and lioness, no be for mouth over. UNN. Raw. Wahoo! Okay, score here to go around. Sha, it's fine. We spoke about virus too, right? We said that virus, is it a living thing? Is virus a living thing? Is virus a living thing? Is it a non-living thing? Which one is it? It is a particle. It does not belong to living or non-living. It is in the borderline. Please, I will beg everybody in this class, make sure you are following what you are doing. Those are the back. Follow up. I always tell you, 7.5 is not a small money, is it? It is small and it is big. People that live in independence layouts, it's not big. I want to name 7.5 is big. Oh, you have to read 2 weeks. So your parents may don't have better. May will get better too. So try and learn. Don't waste your money and your strength. Your mates are in bet Nigeria now doing 1 or 2, cashing out. So, for the fact you have come, try and concentrate. Beacon. This one we are about to do is very difficult. So that's why I'm just taking it gradually. So nobody will say, nah, what I know again. Then we say that the structure of a virus is such that it has 4 parts, right? The first part is the what? Head, the neck, middle piece, and tail. Do we have DNA and RNA virus? No. DNA and RNA, correct? No. What do we have? DNA or RNA. So you are either a DNA virus or RNA virus. Do we have DNA and RNA bacteria? Yes. Okay. Bacteria, is it a eukaryote or prokaryote? Eukaryote or prokaryote bacteria? Why? No nuclear membrane, right? Where do you find the nuclear particles? Is it cytoplasm? Okay. So today we are going to start our lecture series on parasitology. What did I say? So both new and old, we are starting together now. So do best to yourself to follow us as we are starting. We are not losing anything. We are starting together. It's in your textbook. But this is a topic usually jumped. I don't think they taught me this in secondary school. My teacher just told us, go and read Plasmodium. Go and read mosquito. Run our fear. Did you read it? No. Did you pass it? Yes. It's not the Lord's doing. It's marvelous in our eyes. How I passed it is not your business. Did I pass it? Yes. Miracle not the tire Jesus. But if you tire for your side though, if you give you expo, you go fail on top. Okay. So we are actually going to learn this. Trust me, I will tell you this topic if you learn it now. Someone chatted me this week. He's a 100 level nursing student in a suit. I was a MDA student here. So chatted me, uncle, please, how did you cope in 100 level? The lecture hall is bigger. Institute lecture hall is bigger than this hall. It's like starting from that's our security post to here. A very big hall. Everybody will be here. The whole 100 level doing sciences. Nursing, med lab, medicine, anatomy, biochemistry, all of them in one big hall. People used to go for lecture by 6 a.m. Why? So you have to go early to stay in the front. Staying in the front does not mean you understand the lecture, just to sit down, Godi. That's the first step. Now imagine you in the front that don't understand. What would the person at the back now do? Then lecturer does not use public address system. They don't send that in for university. Lecturer just come, stand. The topic today is electrochemical series. Lecture that should be 2 hours. They will say that they stay long guests, 45 minutes. After, you should have learned this in your secondary school. Read it up. Your quiz is next week. You read them or you don't read them, no consign them. You go write the quiz, yes. You go pass. God's grace. So actually, so when she asked me the question, she was like, she was not following up anything they do in class. She goes to class early, still stays in front, but does not understand anything. Uncle, how will I do it? What will I do? Because I'm in a suit, medicine and surgery. So I told her, go and read James 1 verse 5. Whatever they tell you, there is what you will do. So uncle, it's not Bible thing I'm asking. Say, they were serious. She read it and came back and told me, uncle, I've read it. And say, okay, you're going. I said, ask God wisdom. He will give you liberal. And say, I'm going to ask God. That's what I can tell you. Someone met me in School of Nursing this morning. Okay, yesterday. They're preparing for an exam called PTS. I was asking her, how is the exam preparation? Okay, it's fine. Sure, hope no problem. No. Uncle, all the things we are doing, you taught us in MDA now. See a short one. So what am I trying to say in essence? These things you are doing here, nobody will teach you. Especially university. Even School of Nursing, they will teach you, give you notes, you read. But university, nobody is teaching you. What you'll be hearing is, read it up, read it up, read it up. Read it up. If you like, you read. If you like, don't read. But if you are doing any health-related course, medicine, nursing, pharmacy, med lab, physiotherapy, if someone doing anatomy does not read it up, you must read it up. Because you are not just reading it to pass the exam, you are reading it to know it. That's the problem. This course I'm teaching now, the last time I read biology was in 2019. The last time I opened Idotu Women College Biology. But when I read it, I didn't read it, I just want to pass the exam. I read it to know it. My year 1 students, sometimes when I teach them in school, they'll ask me, how do you remember these things? I'll tell them, did not read it to pass the exam when I read. I read to understand because I'll still need these things later. And that's how you're a good nurse, a good doctor, a good physiotherapist. Because cell that you did in SS1, you use cell to become a doctor. A consultant still reads cell. But as you go, the knowledge changes. In biology, they taught us that joint is the region where 2 or more bones meet, right? In anatomy, it's no more a region where bones meet. It's now a region of articulation. Region of what? The way you go English and change. So all these things, you need to know the basics now. So that when you get there and the lecture hall is filled up. I'm talking of A-suits. I didn't talk about UNN. No. UNN is the den. You stay in the jungle. If you like, die there. Nobody send your papa. UNN hall is ×3. I said A-suit is from security post to this place, right? UNN is ×3. People even stay outside. You know, I dream of lecture or seminar. It's lecture. Most people shall go for lecture to sign attendance and go. When you go back home, you read your books. But imagine you don't know what you are going home to read. It's a big problem. So I said I don't like doing motivational talk. Because say all of you are quiet now. Or they call na aba for where na ko erigo then we kocha kwa inia we move emotion dopamine on na agbada. Hey, so now iya ọ dịkwa ka ihe ọnkụl a na-ekwu bụ eziokwu ka nje bara onwe m uru nnaruo kịta 9 to 12 book mgbe ị na-arụ WhatsApp message bata now is over. Maybe by the time you go to CPS gates ichete na itinyekwa a game. Hey, ọ dịka ọkọ to go iberugodo akwa na arụ ị na-arụ eje chọọ ị ga-eme gị ka ị dị happy. So all these things I'm saying now is just temporal. By the time why akutu now is over. Ana asị na osi ebe ọbanye osi ebe a pụọ ọbanye bedi ọ nọ na air like an na door. It has not even entered for some people. But a word is enough for the wise. Okay, so we have that. We are going to start up from association, as I said last time. Told us that in biology, we have what we call association under ecology. Do we remember? We say that we have how many types of association again? 3. The first one is what? Mutualism. Second one, commensalism. And the last one, parasitism. Now, I remember defining association in the last class, and I said that association simply means the relationship or the interaction between organisms. Is that correct? Then that interaction is divided into 3. And I told us that there are 2 major concepts that we need when we talk about association. The first concept is benefits, and second one is harm. So when we define any of these 3 forms of association, we are looking at the benefits and the harm of each. Now in mutualism, we have that the organisms involved in mutualism are 2. How many? Commensalism, 2. Parasitism, 2. Now, in this one, how many people benefit? 2. In mutualism, how many people benefit? 2. You know, those days in Facebook, for those that do Facebook, for those that even have Android phone, if you don't have Android phone, the Lord is going to locate you soon. Oh? Now, in Facebook, then, they will tell you, you will see a box, you will see Nkechi there. They will tell you, add friend. Is that correct? Yes. Then maybe under here, they will tell you, view profile. Once you click view profile, please follow what I'm doing now. Then maybe if there's anyone that is your friend, that is this person's friend too, they will tell you one mutual friend. Have you seen this before? One mutual friend means you are a friend to me and also a friend to her. So mutual there means that the both of us are doing what? Benefiting. Are we getting what I'm saying? So the word mutual in English simply means what? Benefits. In economics account, they'll call it beneficiary. They'll call it what? But they all mean the same thing. So in mutualism, the 2 organisms do what? Benefits. Is anyone harmed? No. So we have benefits, no harm. In commensalism, how many organisms benefit? 1. Is anyone harmed? No harm. In parasitism, does anyone benefit? Yes. Okay, let's do it like this. So we have, benefits, yes. Harm, no. Benefits, yes. Harm, no. Then, is there any benefits? Yes. Okay, yes, there is. Any harm? Yes. So this is just a summary of these things. You don't need to cram. I tell students, physics was my easiest course then in secondary school because you have to bring out trick for yourself. I don't cram laws in physics. That's the last thing I will do. The last time I read physics was when I wrote JAMB. And I think I can remember basically all the laws in physics. Why? Most of the laws in physics, do they have formula? Yes. What law is this? Is it Boy's law? What law is this? Charles' law. If you know this formula, you can bring out the English. You just need to know, yeah, there is benefit, no harm, benefit, no harm, benefits, harm. The English is now Suzy and Corbin choice. Let's talk about this law, Boy's law. What does P mean here? Pressure. What does volume mean? V is volume. Okay. Now, this sign here means inversely proportional. Is that correct? Now, we have that most of the laws start with volume. The sentence usually starts with volume. Is that correct? So if they tell you to state Boy's law now, what does it mean? The volume of a given mass of gas is inversely proportional to the pressure, given that temperature remains constant. Do you need to go and cram that English there? You don't need to. And we can see now, I might start my own English with volume. You can start with pressure. Mentally, we talk the same thing. You go your way. Having in mind that there are 3 parameters in gas law, which is pressure, volume, and what? Temperature. And that one of them must remain constant in each of the laws. Once you understand it like this, you don't need to cram. You don't need to. Now, this volume, please, is not just, okay, let me use this one. This is Charles' law. We have that the volume of a given mass of gas is directly proportional to the what? Not temperature. Absolute. What is absolute temperature? You don't know. Have you done gas laws in physics in this lesson? Okay. Gas law has a graph. The graph looks like this. Have you seen this thing? Like this is in your past question. Somewhere around there you see minus 273 Kelvin. This is the value we call absolute temperature. What's this? You can now go and read it up and know why it is called absolute temperature. So what I'm trying to bring in essence is that at times you don't need to cram everything. You just need to understand it. You have to understand. Imagine as of since 2018, I still remember these things. My name is SS3 Banamaro gas law. True or false? True. So you just have to understand. They will ask you, which law is this one? Which law? Is it Hooke's law? Yes. If you tell someone now to state that law, or in English, where will I start? Which law is this one? Ohm's law. I remember as of when I was in SS1, they taught us this is an SS1 topic, Ohm's law. We are writing an exam. Someone in SS3 was telling me, Sage, please tell me answer now. If you remember Ohm's law, I told him the answer. But after we came out in the hall, because I'm a kind of person that when I see an urgency, I'll help you. When we come out, I'll ask you why. Why don't you know it? That does not mean if I see an exam tomorrow, I'll help you. That's first. What do you enjoy? I don't know. I'm company. I'll go with manager. It's a term not name a chance. This life is, you have to be careful in life. So the guy was like telling me that the law is too long. Imagine the English they were speaking there. Hi, how you go? How will I cram this thing? I told him, sir, you are my senior. You sabi pass me, and I can't advise you. Sorry, sir. Tomorrow we entered way again. Physics asked me about a law in electromagnetism. I told him again, what are we here for? Life continues. But that law now, even though it's big, you can use the formula to bring it out. What does I mean here? Current. What does V mean? Potential difference. Oboria. So what's the law now? The current moving through an electric conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its end. Provided that what is constant? Provided that what? Ah, Jesus, Vicon. When do you get the right 320 na jam ya? And we're going with 350 ever na class I know. What time on day? February, March, April, the 4th, yeah? Okay. Oh. This one, we have that the elasticity of an elastic material is directly proportional to the force applied in the direction of the applied force. Okay, provided that the elastic limit is not exceeded. So all this long English, you can just get them from the formulas. Am I teaching you anything? Are you learning? It's choice to learn, Sha. So, back to this. Once you understand that these are the two concepts you need to get in each of these, the English to speak should not be the problem. English is not your language. Anyhow you put it, as far as you understand, no problem. Now, what is mutualism? This is a kind of association whereby the organisms that are involved are how many? 2. Where one benefits and, where the 2 benefits and no harm is caused. That's mutualism. A kind of association whereby 2 organisms benefit and no harm is caused. Commensalism, a kind of association whereby one organism benefits, the other one does not benefit, and no harm is caused. Check it now. You go your way. Okay. Then I also say that in ecology, we were told that mutualism can also be called what? Symbiosis. Is that true? Another name for mutualism is symbiosis. But this was a lie. I don't know why they like lying to us too much in classes. They'll tell us when we are small, if a boy touch you, what will happen? Come pregnant. They'll be lying to us anyhow. I remember they told us that there are 4 chambers in the heart. Did they also tell you? Will I shock you? Is a lie? Is it a lie? Or you tell me the 4 chambers? There's the right, left. What's here? Right atrium. Is that correct? Then here, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. Is it what they told you to? So the ones on up are called, left and right auricle. Is that right? And then left and right ventricle. Actually, this was a lie. There is no auricle in the heart. What we have in the heart is called atrium. It's called what? So they'll be lying to us here and there, here and there. And what do we have to do? To be believing the lies and be passing our exam. Have you ever opened WAEC pass question? They will tell you this one is for Ghana, Syria alone. Have you seen it? Have you tried to answer the questions there? Okay, have you gone near to it? Did you run back? You should run back. You see that you can't answer the questions because Nigeria is a lie. Even your country is a lie. Your president is a lie. You can't help it. There is no sense, no. You can't help it. So we have that mutualism cannot also be called symbiosis. Symbiosis is a term of its own. In other words, symbiosis even is another name for association. Should I repeat it again? We were told that mutualism can also be called what? Symbiosis. Is it true? No. Symbiosis is another name for what now? Association. So they can ask you define symbiosis in biology. You can simply say it is also called association, which means the relationship or interaction between organisms. Is this making sense? You have a question? Okay, so in other words, we have that the organisms that are involved in symbiosis, we call them symbionts or symbiotes. You call them symbionts or symbiotes. Now, how many types of symbiosis do we have? How many types of symbiosis? The same thing we have here. We have how many types of association? 3. You also have 3 types of symbiosis. I want to explain before we write, so that's why I'm explaining. Don't write, so just listen. Calm down. I'm coming. Now, there is another one that was not listed in your textbook that was added. That one is called phoresis. It's called what? So we have that there are 4 types of symbiosis or 4 types of association. So we're going to define each of them, then define a parasite, types of parasites, define hosts, types of hosts, then before we dive into the main thing. So hope we are all ready now to start. I know some people want to write. They'll be like, I told you that after writing, you will put it inside your bag, carry it and go home. Will you open it at home? No. Will you come tomorrow with the bag? Yes. We'll move again tomorrow. On our gonna pack 1 week to exam. Even it here, hey, biology is hard. Why won't it be hard? In medicine, you read every day. Not just that you read every day, you read a book bigger than dictionary every day. And you have to finish it. Someone asked me, hey, uncle, I want to do medicine and surgery. Should I put A suits or UNN? And said that should not even be your problem. Your problem should be, can I do it? If I was told early, I wouldn't have put medicine in JAMB. I'm not trying to discourage you. Before somebody will now ask me, uncle, uncle, he said medicine is difficult. Should I not do it? And say, but my child cannot do medicine. I will do it, so I'll finish it, I'll be a doctor. But someone made a mistake. Daddy, actually, me medicine. Mama, we are canine it. But for you, you can do it. You know, those days, once you are intelligent in school, I see you again medicine. But actually, it's very important. Nigeria, we don't have doctors now. Almost, they graduate not less than 500 doctors, not less than 500 doctors in every state in Nigeria. So if we are to do a mathematics, 500 times 36 states should be more than 1.5 million doctors every year in Nigeria. Is that correct? 1.5 million. But the doctors we have in Nigeria are not more than 1,000. So what's happened to the rest? Japa. They are all flying away. So we don't have doctors. They always told us that medicine is a noble profession. Is it a noble profession? Yes, it is. Doctors are hotcakes. Nurses are even gold. If you did nurse, I want to go to Liberia. Please, we won't give you accommodation, feeding fee, feeding allowance. They will pay even toilet tissue allowance. So you will come. It's actually stressful, but it's very difficult. Very difficult. As I said, I'm not saying this thing to demoralize anybody. Do anyone you want to do. If you want to do computer engineering, fine. But at times, it's better they force you to do what you don't want to do. What I wanted to do at first was civil engineering. They forced me, was dragging me. Imam Bahuru. Yana Huarikwana streets are choro. I told them, okay, it's no more civil, I'll do chemical. Igana Rokwanchana some pufta kwebang. Yes, I can choose automobile, kemote for mechanic. So I can do electrical. Electrician, yeah, that one po. Which one will I now do? So okay, so what's the last option? So medicine. But I don't know biology. Funny enough, this thing I'm teaching people, I did not know it. As of my SS3, I was having difficulty in biology. In my biology notes, I always write, that place they write name, class, subject, date. Name, I hate biology. My teacher will now be asking me, What's the problem? Do you hate the course or the teacher? I don't know. It's like the both. I don't even know the one I hate. That was how bad it was. If you told me in prophecy tomorrow that I'll be teaching biology, I will not believe it. But what did I do? I had to start reading it as if my life depended on it. And they told us a lie. For you to do medicine, you must do what? Biology. You must know biology. But it's a lie, yo. Biology is actually 50% of the health practice. But you need physics, you need chemistry, and that worst one you're running away from, maths. You need it. So it's not a waste of time. If you are planning to do pediatrics, neurosurgery, you must know your maths very well. Because on top person head, you'll be drawing latitude, longitude, circumference of a circle on top person head. So, but nevertheless, it's fine. So let's write. Symbiosis. Symbiosis. This is also called association. This is also called association. This is also called association. It can be defined as the relationship. It can be defined as the relationship or interaction between organisms. It can be defined as the relationship or interaction between organisms. Please, everyone should make sure they are writing now. Make sure you are writing, even if you know it or not. Make sure you are writing. As relationship or interaction between organisms in an ecosystem. Relationship or interaction between organisms in an ecosystem. Full stop. The organisms involved in symbiosis are called symbionts. The organisms involved in symbiosis are called symbionts or symbiotes. One is American, one is British. The organisms involved in symbiosis are called symbionts or symbiotes. Full stop. Full stop. There are four main types of symbiosis, namely, one. There are four main types of symbiosis, namely, 1. Phoresis. 2. Mutualism. 3. Commens. Am I too fast? It's on the board now. Phoresis, mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. There are four main kinds of symbiosis, namely phoresis, mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. Let's talk about phoresis. In this kind of symbiosis, a larger organism called the host gives the smaller one called the phoront. Phorons on the board. Gives the smaller one called the phorons mechanical support. Hope you can see the phorons. Yeah, please, on the board. The larger one, called the host, gives the smaller one, called the furans, mechanical support and carriage. That's carriage from place to place. The larger one, called the host, gives the smaller one, called the furans, mechanical support and carriage from place to place. Full stop. Full stop. Example: relationship between housefly and bacteria. Relationship between housefly and bacteria. Do you understand what you wrote? In phoresis, the only relationship there is that the bigger organism will always carry the smaller one from one place to another. What does housefly do? It perches on feces, picks bacteria, perch on food, drop bacteria. Is it phoresis? Yes. Things like that, just movements. That's what it does for it. It does not do any special work. So which one is benefiting there now? The housefly, isn't it? So it's more or less, can you call it commensalism? Can you call phoresis commensalism? Can you? These three are actually in relationship with nutrition. With what? Nutrition. Feeding. Like in here, these ones, there is a form of metabolic dependence. You feed. But this one, there is no metabolic dependence. You just carry, transport. Do you get? Mutualism. This is a kind of association between two organisms. This is a kind of association between two organisms. It's a kind of association between two organisms where both organisms benefit from each other. Where both organisms benefit from each other. Where both organisms benefit from each other and none is harmed. And none is harmed. Both benefit from each other and none is harmed. Full stop. Example, you should know many examples now. Algae and fungi. Example, relationship between algae and fungi in brackets lichen or lichen. Lichen kuna be LICHEN. Relationship between algae and fungi in brackets lichen, comma. Relationship between termites and its intestinal flagellates. Relationship between termites and its intestinal flagellates. What other examples? Give me, please. Remora, is it here? Remora and catfish up here? Okay, that one is commensalism. I say termites and its intestinal flagellates. Termites and its intestinal flagellates. Give me other examples of mutualism. Mumu Jesus. Sea anemone and what? Okay, sea anemone and hermit crab. Okay, hermit, ba? So on the board we have sea anemone and hermit crab. Like this, ba? Any other one? Right, ETC. That's why you should be reading your book. ETC. So what happens between algae and fungi? I want to explain. We say that mutualism, the both organisms benefit and no harm is caused. So relationship between, have you ever come out and in raining season and see walls with that green thing? Like like plants. Have you seen it before? That green thing is called lichen, or be lichen. The proper pronunciation is lichen. Now that lichen, those green things is made up of two things. It's made up of algae and what? Fungi. Now algae is a plant. When we did under taxonomy, we have Talophyta. Have you heard about Talophyta before? It's made up of the algae and fungi. So algae is a plant, and one characteristic feature of plants is that they have presence of chlorophyll. Presence of what? And chlorophyll do two things for them. Chlorophyll give them that green color and also help them to make their own food. Is that correct? So algae as a plant has chlorophyll. So algae makes food for itself and also makes food for fungi. Because fungi are plants that don't have, they're not actually plants, but they look like plants and they don't have chlorophyll. The kind of nutrition fungi undergo is called saprophytism. Is what? So saprophytes feed on dead, decaying organic matter. So what algae does is that algae makes small food for itself and fungi, while fungi supplies water to algae. And remember, photosynthesis needs two major things, CO2 and what? Water. Is it making sense? So fungi gives algae water, while algae makes what? Food. Is it mutualism? Yes. Is that making sense? The second one, termites and intestinal flagellates. You know what is termites now? Now, termites, we have what we call flagellates. Flagellate is simply any organism that has flagella. This is the spelling. I don't know what you wrote on your book. Oh. Is this what you wrote? So any organism that uses flagella for movement is called what? Flagellates. Now, everybody in this classroom has flagellates in their stomach. Do you get? Did I teach us food here last year? We did nutrition, right? Now, when we did nutrition, we talked about roughages. Do you remember? I told us that roughages are not digested by the body. Did I say it? Now, roughages are digested by bacteria in your guts, not you. Your body does not digest roughages. Is that making sense? Examples of roughages: orange fiber, apple, vegetable, right? Whenever someone is undergoing constipation and the stomach is increasing, or see, I've not gone for toilet for 3 days. What will they tell the person? Go and buy what? Orange. So what does orange do in that food now? It acts as what? A roughage. So your body does not digest that orange fiber. What digests is what? Bacteria. Is that making sense? So similarly, we have intestinal flagellates in the intestine of termites. What does it do? It helps termites to digest cellulose. Termites is what we call mpu in Igbo. Have you heard about mpu before? They eat wood. Is that correct? Now, that wood they eat, after breaking the wood down, they cannot digest it because the wood is made up of cellulose. And they don't have the enzyme called cellulase that digests cellulose. So, but this enzyme is found in the flagellates in the intestine. So what they do is that as the termites eat the wood, it provides food for the flagellates. While the flagellates help the termites to do what? Break the food down. Am I making sense, please? Is this mutualism too? Yes. Is that clear? I know I'm explaining these things though. The next one, commensalism. Commensalism. It's like I'll stop explaining. People are looking at me one kind. This man, just talk. Let's be writing notes. You want to be writing notes, bah? Commensalism. This is a kind of association between two organisms. It's a kind of association between two organisms whereby one organism benefits and the other does not. whereby one organism benefits and the other does not. Whereby one organism benefits and the other does not, comma, and still none is harmed. And still none of them is harmed. And still none of them is harmed. And still none of them is harmed. Full stop. Example. What's the example again? People should help me. Remora fish and shark. Example, remora fish and shark. Example, remora fish and shark. Example, remora fish and shark. Okay, so what's the association between remora fish and shark? We have that, you know what shark is now, right? Eh? A very big fish, Oburia. So we have that, the only relationship there is that remora fish, also called pilot fish. Also called what? The fish just, whenever it sees shark passing, it just rushes and attaches itself to shark. Why does it do so? So that shark can give it a ride. So it's just like you are passing now, or let's assume you are going home, and then you jam your mom coming back from work. Obviously, you know your mom will pay for your tea fare, is it? So you, okay, your mom will not pay. Though it depends, yeah? If it's on a good day. But normally in Igbo land, you know, everybody is doing packaging these days. So we want to package. Not now, Sha. If I see my mom going and I meet her, she will not pay. I'll be the one to pay. The reverse will be the case. Over here. It was, but when we were small, let's assume you are coming back from secondary school and you enter bus and then you mistakenly jam your mom. Has this ever happened to someone? I was coming back from school one day with one fine girl. So we don't enter bus, so the bus don't move. Because if the bus has not moved, I would have gone down. So the bus has moved. So as we're now going, someone called my mom, so she picked her call. So when I heard her voice, hello, I was like, this voice resembles my mom's voice. So I now looked close. She was in front of me. In front of mom. Ha. I told the girl, Kevin, I'm not talking that bus again till we got down. Because what will you tell your mom, just you don't have explanation. Your classmates. Mom is my classmates. Okay. My name not on a bus, I would have biology. I would have basic science. Okay, so let's assume at times you meet her. Most of the times what they do is that if you meet them, they will pay for you. Or let's assume you are going home and your parents have a car and they are going, you return at CPS, that place people wait for bus. And then while passing, you see a car that resembles your dad's car and you rush the car. Obviously, you are going home for free, isn't it? So it's a free ride. So this is exactly what remora fish does to shark. One shark is passing, it's raw. You know, it's a very small fish. It's very small. Shark does not eat that kind of thing. Shark won't even know it ate something if it eats that one. So once shark sees it, does not bother. So the fish rushes to shark, just uses one of the fin to attach to the shark, and the shark gives it a ride. So who is benefiting now? The remora fish. Why the shark is not? But is anybody harmed? No. So that is a pure example of which association? Commensalism. The last one, the organ we are waiting for. Parasitism. Someone had a question at the back there, for God's sake. Have I answered the person's question? The auntie that wanted to ask me a question. Parasitism. This is a kind of association between two organisms A kind of association between two organisms where a smaller organism called a parasite, where a smaller organism called parasite where a smaller organism called a parasite benefits from and still harms the larger one called the host. Where a smaller organism called a parasite benefits from and still harms the larger one called the host. Full stop. Full stop. Example. You should know many examples here now, bro. Mosquito and man. Is this a good example? Mosquito and man, comma. Tapeworm and man. Liver fluke and cattle. Liver fluke. Hope you can spell fluke. F-L-U-K-E. Liver fluke and cattle. etc. Liver fluke and cattle. etc. So this is the introduction of what we need to know. So let's talk about parasites now. Parasites, right? Parasites. We define parasitism. Is that correct? So let's define parasite. A parasite is any organism which has metabolic dependence. Is any organism which has metabolic dependence and exerts EXERTS and exerts immunological response which has metabolic dependence. Should I spell it? Which has metabolic dependence and exerts immunological response. Which has metabolic dependence and exerts immunological response on the host. Which has metabolic dependence and exerts immunological response on the host. Full stop. Which has metabolic dependence and exerts immunological response on the host. Underline that immunological response, please. That's the major thing that differentiates parasites from other organisms. As I told us, both mutualism, commensalism, the both of them all have metabolic dependence. Did I say it? Yes. But the problem with parasites is that it actually stimulates your immune system. And they begin to release what we call antibodies. What we call what? Antibodies. So that's the major reason why parasites is different. Once a parasite enters your body, you will know. Once mosquito bites you, before you know it, you start feeling symptoms of malaria. Is that correct? So your body is beginning to react to that. Okay, so types of parasites. Types of parasites. There are different types of parasites, but a few will be mentioned. There are different types of parasites, but a few will be mentioned. such as there are different types of parasites, but a few will be mentioned, such as first one we have endoparasites. Second one we have ectoparasites. We have obligate parasites. Okay, so leave like 3 more lines for the other 3. It is loading in my head. When it's done loading, I'll tell you. There are about 10 types of parasites, but there are some you don't need to know about now. I'll just give you 6. So have endo, ecto, obligates. When I remember others, I'll tell you. Okay, so write endoparasites. Let's talk about endo. Endoparasites. Now, please look up. The difference between endoparasites and ectoparasites is just preposition. It's just what? Endoparasites is in, while ecto is what? On. This is just the difference. As we all know, once you hear the word endo, we are talking about inside. Is that correct? While ecto is usually outside. Is that right? So if we have an organism, let's assume this is your cow. Let's assume, imagination. Now we have 2 parasites, A and B. The A, is it staying inside? Yes. While the B is on the host. Is that correct? So endoparasites is simply the parasite that live inside the host. Write that, please. Endoparasites are parasites which live inside the host. Why ectoparasites, that's number 2 now, live outside or on the host. Endoparasites live inside the host, while ecto live outside or on the host. Then the next one, obligate parasites. Obligate. Have you heard about the English word obligation before? I'm just trying to tell you how to remember these things, because these things are English language, English words. You don't need to cram everything. You don't need to. Now, in civic education, they taught us a topic called duties and what? Obligations. Duties are what you need to do to help and make sure that the society is going well. Is that right? Then obligation is what you must do. Duty, you need to. Is that right? Why obligation? You must. So the word obligation simply means it's coming from compulsion. It is a compulsory thing to do. So similarly, obligate parasites. 1, they are parasites. Listen, don't write yet. Obligate parasites are parasites. Now, what made them obligate is that they must be in a particular host for them to survive. That word obligate there is saying that once they are not in this host, they will not survive. For example, do you know that mosquito bites other animals that is not man? Do you know? Mosquito bites sheep. It bites pig. But the thing is that as it is biting these organisms, it is transmitting a parasite called Plasmodium. Called what? Plasmodium. Now, if Plasmodium enters a sheep, it will not survive. But if it enters man, will it survive? Yes. So what is going to be the so now we have that Plasmodium is an obligate parasite for man, but it is not obligate for which animal? For sheep. Do you get the English? I will explain again. What was it? Does it mean that sheep does not have malaria? I will answer that. Well, just understand what I'm trying to say. We have what we call species of organism. We have species. Everybody stand up. Be fast, be fast, be fast. Let me sit small. Stand, stand. It's like we will offer this fan in this class. Should we switch it off? Stretch yourself, please. Stretch yourself. Those are the back. Let me not meet you there. Make sure you are standing. Those are the back. Let me not meet anybody sitting down. The guy on hood sitting down. Meet here by him, man, like here. Stretch yourself, please. Okay, so let me explain what I was saying. Please listen. Oh. Be quiet, please. Listen, listen. So I said the word obligates simply means you must, you have to. And then I said, using an example, mosquito. What causes malaria in organisms is called Plasmodium. It's called what? So if mosquito bites you now, what it transmits inside you is Plasmodium. And that Plasmodium is what causes malaria. So if mosquito bites a sheep, it will obviously transmit that Plasmodium, but that Plasmodium will not survive in sheep. That's what I said. Now, Plasmodium, as I said, is an obligate parasite for who? For man, but it is not obligate for sheep. Simply, that's what we mean by obligate. You have to survive in this one and not that one. Then someone asked me, does it mean that the sheep will not have malaria? Now, we have what we call species of Plasmodium. Now, sheep has a particular species that causes malaria in sheep. Why man has his own species? We are going to talk about them as we go on. But I want you to understand what we mean by obligate. Okay. Sit down. Okay, so let's write obligate parasite. This is a parasite which its dependence. This is a parasite which its survival dependence. This is a parasite which its survival dependence is on a particular host. This is a parasite which its survival dependence is on a particular host. Is on a particular host. Full stop. Full stop. Then write hosts. Hosts. Let's talk about hosts. Let's talk about hosts. A host is any organism or animal. A host is any organism or animal which a parasite depends on for its survival. Is any organism or animal which a parasite depends on for its survival or nutrition. Is any organism or animal which a parasite depends on for its survival and or nutrition. Full stop. For its survival or nutrition. Types of hosts. Types of hosts. There are different types of hosts, such as 1. Parathenic hosts on the board. Parathenic. 2. Accidental hosts. 3. Natural hosts. And 4. Reservoir hosts. 4. Reservoir hosts. We're not going to explain these ones. You just listen. I will explain. I won't call notes for that. If you wish, you jot. Okay. So what do we mean by parathenic host? As I said, listen. Parathenic host is simply the host that just transports a parasite from place to place. Did we talk about 4 races? Do you remember 4 races? What happens in 4 races? A bigger organism transports a smaller one, right? Example, housefly and what? Bacteria. So housefly, is it a parathenic host? Yes. It just gives transport to the bacteria from one place to another. Is that clear? Second host there, accidental host. From the word accident. This is a host that the parasite jams accidentally. The host is not the host for the parasite, but the parasite jams it accidentally and the parasite survives. The third one, natural host. This is the host that the parasite is actually supposed to survive in. Accidental, it is not the host the parasite should survive in. Natural, that's the host of the parasites. Example is still mosquito and plasmodium. Man is the natural host of plasmodium, while sheep is the accidental host of plasmodium. Then the last one, reservoir hosts. You know what a reservoir is, right? Once you hear reservoir, what comes to your mind? Store. Is that right? So this is a host that actually a vector transmits the parasite to that host. It is from that host that the organism is shared. How do I explain? We have horse. Have you heard about trypanosoma before? Sleeping sickness. Have you heard about trypanosomiasis? Also called sleeping sickness. Now, the organism that transmits it is called tsetse fly. If tsetse fly bites a horse, trypanosoma cannot actually cause sleeping sickness in horse and chimpanzees. But what happens is that another tsetse fly can come and bite horse and pick up the parasites and then infect others. That kind of organism is called a reservoir host. As I said, you don't need to explain it in your book. This one is whenever you start your year 1. That's when you will need the knowledge. Okay, that's about this. Now we have to establish a relationship between vector, parasites, and disease. We have to establish a relationship between vector, parasites, and disease. So write, what is a vector? What is a vector or relationship between vector, parasites, and disease? Anyone? Vector. What's the time, please? Huh? I know you are chasing me away. I'll go soon. Oh? Ewe ni iwe. Mamezozo. Okay. Vector. This is any animal. This is any animal, usually an arthropod. Vector. This is any animal, usually an arthropod. This is any animal, usually an arthropod, which transmits a pathogen. Which transmits a pathogen. In brackets, example, a parasite, which transmits a pathogen. In brackets, example, a parasite, from one organism to another. From one organism to another. Full stop. A pathogen is simply a disease-causing organism. A pathogen is simply a disease-causing organism. Full stop. Full stop. This can be summarized below. This can be summarized below. Then we have something like this. Vector to pathogen. Then pathogen, disease. So vector transmits pathogen. Pathogen cause disease. Example, mosquito transmits plasmodium. Plasmodium cause malaria. Hope you can see what I wrote. What can't you see, please? I said vector transmits pathogen. Pathogen cause disease. Example, mosquito transmits plasmodium. Plasmodium cause malaria. So this thing is very important. It comes out in your JAMB. So you have to be attentive to that. I have seen a question that says river blindness is caused by dash. A, black fly. B, Onchocerca volvulus. People will rush and go and pick. Okay, if it's me, there was a time I set JAMB pass question. Sure. I intentionally put that question there. River blindness is caused by dash. A, black fly. B, lower. C, guinea worm. D, none of the above. Now the answer is not in the option. The correct answer to that question should be none of the above. Black fly is actually the vector that transmits what causes river blindness. Let me add it here too. So we have the first example is mosquito. Second example, we have black fly transmits what we call Onchocerca volvulus that causes river blindness. So they can ask you the cause of malaria is dash. They will put mosquito in the option and you won't see plasmodium. You will go and rush and pick mosquito. You will fail it. You need to understand this thing very well, very importantly. As I said, this topic, you must see at least 2 questions from this topic in your exam. There's no way you write JAMB, you won't see any question on parasites. It's not possible. The same way you must see at least 5 questions from organic chemistry. All those naming of organic compound, you must see at least 5 in your JAMB chemistry. You must see at least 2 parasites from your JAMB. There are topics, that's why you come here. If you're at home, you won't know most of these things. Again, okay, my writing. I say black fly transmits Onchocerca volvulus. ONCHO RCECA. Onchocerca. Then volvulus. VOLVOLUS. VOLVOLUS. Onchocerca volvulus. Then the last one there is river blindness. River blindness. Okay, so this is very important. For the last time, please look up. Let me explain again. We have that vectors are animals. Usually, they belong to what we call arthropods. When I began this class last week, I had to tell us about the phyla in the animal kingdom. Did I? Yes. And I told us that there are only how many phyla? 5 phyla that you can find parasites. One of them that has only 1 parasite is which one? Which phylum has only 1 parasite? Others free living. Is it Annelida? Yes. Which parasite do we have there? Leeches. Then I told us that there's one phylum too that has only 1 free living organism. Which one is that? Flatworms. What's the free living organism there? Planaria. Okay, so I told us that the ones that have parasites are protozoa, flatworms, platyhelminthes, and arthropoda. Do we remember? So arthropods, actually, most of the times, they function as vectors. Example of arthropod is what? Mosquito. Insects. Mosquito. So mosquito actually carries a parasite called Plasmodium. Called what? Plasmodium, or what we commonly call malaria parasites. This Plasmodium is what causes the disease called what? Malaria. Now in JAMB, they will ask you, malaria is caused by dash. Option A, mosquito. Option B. Okay, we have option A, mosquito. Option B, tsetse fly. Option C, Aedes mosquito. Oh, guinea worm. Option D, none of the above. And then you'll be like, it's not malaria. What's the answer? Mosquito. What's the answer supposed to be? Plasmodium. What is mosquito here? Vector. So this is something you need to understand. You know, as I said, you enter exam hall, you rush, come out to be like, which score were you looking at? Leave it roughly 290. Jambas, you know, minus 100, enough for 190. Yes, you rose, you failed, and you came out. You have to be careful when you rush to questions and answer. As I said, when I was opportune to put question in JAMB, this was just the only question I put, and I knew people will fail it. We have what we call statistics after exam. People that failed this question in Nigeria were more than 70% that wrote the exam. Because you don't think, you rush and go and put question. Idiegu. So please, you have to understand this. As we go, shall we talk more about it? Then lastly, I have a question. Okay, what is river blindness? River blindness is actually a disease caused by a worm called Onchocerca volvulus. River blindness is also called onchocerciasis. What did I say? As I said, you will hear funny names as we go. Dracunculiasis, loaiasis, Wuchereria bancrofti. Yes, you will hear funny names, but you must know them. Schistosomiasis, biohaziasis, you will hear a lot. And that's how you'll be seeing it in your exam. Okay, so river blindness is actually the disease When you come to hospital with river blindness, at times you will see the worm, it will pass in your eye. Yes. At a particular time of the day, we're still going to talk about it. There are two worms that pass the eye. One is called lower. One is called what? And the second one is called Onchocerca volvulus. So, we are coming to that later. We will. Now, this river blindness is usually confused with another illness called night blindness. Called what? Night blindness is caused by deficiency of vitamin A. I know there was a time we reviewed persuasion too. That one was a reviewed persuasion. I put this one there intentionally too. Onchocerca volvulus causes dash, option A, night blindness. Please, you should be very careful about A options. What did I say? Once you see option A in the exam, don't rush and answer it though. Calm down. Before you pick any option in this jam you are going to write, make sure you assess the 4 options. How many options? 4. Look at option A to D before you pick. Don't be like option A, Amamia. They'll tell you what's the correct formula for gravitational force. You see F equal to GMM over R square, a rush here. You do not check if that M has M1 and what? M2. Okay, the correct option is this nana. What are we getting in this question? Nice physics are very easy. Half from 370 on one way. If it is 170. I'll have a hawk for you, please. Be very careful. These are reasons why you should use persuasion to read. Hope people are still buying persuasions. Have you bought Sure Guide Jam Pack? Okay. Maybe they've not told you about it. I used to tell people, one of the persuasions you will buy, and you might not need to read your textbook. Might not. Did I say you will not? What did I say? Might not. Might is a word of probability. So it depends on your capacity. If you have read textbook enough, and you still feel like, nah, I can't go textbook and we can go. There are people that have told me, hey, uncle, I've come for lesson tire. I've gone to a team USA or SAPI, Melting Points, MDA, Ika Google Major Aga lesson. Lesson no no go after na register. What was there be Kagabe? Your for the Gega Zebo, Ega prize winners. Cause of Oba, Stuff Link, a Piachi Akoko. You say no go bye, Kai by Lagos, Kai go inside down. So if you are tired of that kind of movement and you feel you are knowledgeable enough, you have read, what you need to read is Sure Guide Jam Pack. We'll have the persuasion. It will be sold soon. I think they must have told the people self. What did I call it? Sure Guide Jam Pack. Pre 50 is there. Oh. At least people know about Pre 50, right? Do you know about Pre 50? Pre 50 is a very marvelous persuasion. At least it arranges by topic. Is that correct? So if you're able to answer 10 questions on plants, and that's the questions they have there, that means you've exhausted all the questions they've asked in JAMB from 1978 to date on plants. So, but one thing I like about the Sure Guide Jam Pack is that Pre 50 will tell you that the option is A. They might not explain it, but Sure Guide Jam Pack explains each option. It's as if you are reading summarized textbook. You get? But you still see it. Possibly, I'll go and remind them if they not told you. The aim of this lesson is to pass. Is that right? And when you try to be able next year, I'm going to be able next year. Try able next year. And when you try another lesson center, the truth is that everybody in this class will not enter school this year. That's the truth. It's not a course. So what did I say? It's the truth. Is it true? Yes. People must fail. Oh. Yes. You can never write the exam and have 100% pass. It's not possible. Because some people here are playing. My principal always tell us then in secondary school, Wale, do you know Wale? Do you know Wale Lesson Center? Otimpu. Zika Veni, and we walk that year. He always tells us that he teaches maths. That once he teaches you in class, what he gives everybody in the class is 30% knowledge. How many percent? 30%. And in the grading system of Nigerian academics, 30 is F. Is what? That's fail. Red pen, fail. Now, but in that class, you see people getting 70. What is 70? A. How did they do it? The extra 40 is now your hard work. But everybody in the class, were they taught the same thing? Yes. Did they learn the same thing? Yes. Did some put extra effort? They did. So those people that they gave 30 and they stayed with that 30 will fail. Remember the story of the talents in the Bible? Do you remember? They gave one. He went and dug it in a pit. They gave the other guy 3. He used it and got 5. So if you don't use your 3 to get 5, you will remain in that 3. And that 3 is failure. You will fail woefully. And in your dream, you will see me laughing at you. I'll tell you, I told you. But the truth is that everybody here will not get admission this year. Maybe next year, but this year, not everybody will get admission. That you will get is now dependent on you. But the truth is that MDA students, more than 70% of students here always get admission. In Parkland, School of Nursing, there are about 200 and something. More than 100 are MDA students. I'll be passing. I will now, once I hear Uncle Sage, I will not look at you. I will pass. Because almost everybody there are from MDA. Go to UNM Medicine, 1/4 of the class, MDA. ASUT, 100 level medicine, 1/4 of the class, MDA. So if you don't get admission, who cause them? Are we the ones? No, it's you. So if you like, go home, don't read. Have a break. I remember I told us sometime, I was once a student of this lesson. Did I tell us the last class? I was a student of this lesson in 2018. Uncle Festus taught me. I was still here like you people. They were teaching me, I was doing. But then, the problem is that as year comes by and goes, serious students decrease. That banner you are seeing there, 367. Now, who for 367, Evan? Did you see this 367 score? So the student, my friend, she's in fancy suits now. Her name was number 1 on the list. That girl got 200 in JAM. What did I say? 200. It was a very poor score for a course like pharmacy in a university. Uncle Festus, I know them, we always motivate her. She wanted to do change of course to put applied microbiology. Festus no told her, no, you are still young. If you no do them, next year we go again. Was just advising her. Whenever we go out for break, all of us, we don't go out for break. We stay in the class, we read. Uncle Festus used to do English for us then. He would teach us words, synonyms, and antonyms. Does he still do it now? He will do it soon if he's not. Then he would be calling big words for us, painstaking. This one, that one. He will write 50 words on the board and tell us by the time we come back for break, everybody should be able to tell him the words, the synonyms, and the antonym. If you're able to call the full words, he will give you 10,000 that time, as of 2018. So when you remember the money, your brain must open. You'll be like, calculate what I'll do with 10K. He used to give gifts. There was a boy, he bought laptop of 200K for then, 2018. We are still doing it. Don't be shocked. As of last year, he bought a new phone for someone. Phone of about 90K. It's just to make you, give you 90K. Itajegone. I used to tell him at times, Uncle, you are trying. You are not paying him. It's just to make sure that you succeed. That's what he's doing. So those days when my head was still hot, not now. I know there was a day I won. Guess how much I won? 10 naira, which is 2,000. So I think I won 3K that day. So he wrote 50 words. So after break, we began to look for the meaning. Break then was 1 hour. I think it's still 1 hour now. It's no more 1 hour. Okay, we'll go out for break by 2, come back by 3. So that 1 hour, we begin to have groups. Even this Sweet 16, then we read Sweet 16 novel. Everybody will stay together. You talk each chapter, you discuss. When you get to exam hall, you see how you pass those things. Though he will still do those things. It's a normal yearly stuff. There's a time it will reach, few weeks to jam. We won't be teaching you again. All of you will have study group. Everybody will have this year. Oh, it will change your life. Don't worry. So they will just put you in groups. Maybe this group will read chapter 1, this group chapter 2. After reading it, people come together, you start discussing it. Before you know it, if you are not able to read that novel, by the time you are done discussing, at least when you hear Adamu in an exam, you know you've seen, they talked about Adamu somewhere in the class, and you know what to answer. So then, that day, he will now come into the class, he will say it at random. Maybe the 5th word there is apt. He will tell you, who can tell us the meaning of apt? You will say the meaning. He will tell you what's the synonym. You will say your synonym. He will ask any other synonym from the crowd. People will say it, and you will be jotting. Woe betide you, you don't follow that class. Once you get to JAMB, you see all those questions will start coming. There is an English book called Fellas 909. Is it still in place now? We use Fellas 909. Fellas 909 then, there was a boy that crammed all the words, synonym, antonyms in that book. Fellas 909 means there are 909 questions and answers in that book about lexis and structure. You know what is called lexis and structure, ba? All those registers, synonym, antonym, preposition. There's a particular boy, you ask him a question, he will tell you the date, the page, and the question number. He will tell you, ask him, Obi and Ada are coming, is on their way. She will tell you, uncle, this thing is from page 59, check number 13. And you go there, you see it. That was how bad the boy crammed it. He's in final year medicine, UNA here now. Like when you see that kind of thing, tomorrow you go and read. Nkedife she went to HR, so when man Nkedife then, whenever we are in class, she'll be walking around. Mumumi will follow Nkedife and be walking around. Whenever they ask questions, Nkedife and Tango will be answering questions. They will stand up, they will answer, rattle. I'll not be asking myself, bro, Nkedife money I saw, I came to class one day, early in the morning, foundation class. I saw Nkedife teaching people physics. Yeah. I was like, there is more to this, so I began to make her friends. Anytime we are going, we'll be going. I'll buy her pure water, chewing gum. So she will be my friend. So from there, she began to teach me. Once that you have to be humble when you come to learning. In my class, medicine and surgery class, we have a major general in army. What did I say? Major general. Doing medicine. This man is old enough to give birth to, I should be the grandchild of the son of the man. But when you come to learn, you have to humble yourself. Medicine itself, you will see old people, but you don't see old people as much as you see in law. In law, you will see the age of your great-grandfather sitting in class with you. When I ask you, my lord, Attorney General, sir, objection. Nime class. So if someone as old as your dad can sit and learn, and they will teach him, who are you? If you don't know it, the best thing to do is, maybe I've talked rubbish, finish, you don't understand this one. Your friend can teach you. You should not be only collect number, waggy cheek, buy a phone Saturday, I got celebrities. You should not be only that. Let them teach you. I used to tell people there are 3 reasons people come for lesson. Either to come and learn, to come and show new Christmas wear, or to come and check women. These are the 3 reasons some people, they know I know the truth. I know what you know. So we can when the nature about school, and I target this fine girl. Hey, my guy, how far? Can I rush go to Yenka? Idiots and Tiana, we are not draw number, you number. At working Abani, see that disturbing me, disturbance and get boogie. No be you carry number give am. So the thing that they say that you should make a hay while the sun shines. You will enjoy later. Just calm down now and study. Do the proper thing. Study. For the fact you leave your house every morning, come here, stay till 5 or till 2. Is enough reason. It is stressful. I tell people reading is hard though. Like to tell you to sit down now and read is a big punishment. But you have to punish yourself. If not, your head will be empty. Very empty. You have to do it. Unless it's just one door, so people they will snap for. Though that one should not be your problem. People they will put in the banner. And now bonding with 320, send in your score. You know and score again. You know for 199. You know borderline. Borderline to enter 200. And the thing is that there are schools that are life scores. A school like UNN, they like 250. It's like 210, 240, 230. IMT even like 10. If you like 10, they will tell you to come. All hope is not lost. Come around, we are here with you. So unless it's just 189. And when that guy Joe, what's your score? They'll be like, I tried though. I did my best. But what's the score? I got 2.8. Joe, what's your score? On God, guy, on God. On God, when you put the score, name it I who my guy. I'm going to drug it. Next year, I get those on next year. One home score, I check your 150, your 150. So you don't want to be proud of your own score, you read. Read your book. So, please, we're going to stop here for today. Next class, listen. Cherunu kanko yericha non. Kebi na agaketa okuje kire Telemundo African Magic. Cherunu bar speed. Wayo. Stand up, let's pray. Everybody stand up, stand up.